Education is the key to a bright future. empowermefirst.college.
Welcome to Student-Confidentiality of this coaching training course. In this lesson, you'll learn why confidentiality is an integral part of the coach-student relationship at Empower Me First College. Without it, students will not be able to trust you and they won't accept your guidance. It's key to help students become self-reliant learners, researchers, and innovators, and rounded, confident personalities. At Empower Me First College, we expect the highest level of integrity and ethics from all of our members, especially anyone with a direct contact with our students. We live in our vision, mission, and values at any time, and we follow all of our policies. Please reread and download them along with the script of this video. If you have any questions in the coming lesson, please share them with your mentors, your HR, and team leaders at your organization. Here are a few points specific to your everyday coaching experience. Following these principles will allow you to be respected and trusted by your students. Avoid sharing your personal views, beliefs, or values. Coaching is first and foremost about listening. Only if we listen, we can understand the problem a student has. As a coach, we don't give answers to students' problems. We ask questions to help them find out their own ways. In order to do so, forget how experienced and knowledgeable you are. And above all, don't think that you know what is right for the student. Let them explore for themselves, let them find their own path, and don't tell them that their way is wrong. If you want, you can give examples of more effective ways of solving problems. You still need to let the students find out for themselves. Only if they do, their learning is effective, and they can apply it next time. There might be solutions when students explore things in their learning or lives that are against your personal values or beliefs. It's crucial you don't interfere. Coaching is not about you and your convictions, it's about the students becoming rounded personalities who believe in their capacity of finding their own ways. Only if their actions pose a danger to their own or other people's lives or break a law, you have the right to intervene and involve others. But in no situation is there a need for you to share your personal opinions, beliefs, and values. This may sound harsh, but it's important that students feel safe from judgment. Only then they can outgrow themselves. Confidentiality means that whatever a student shares cannot be shared with other students, coaches, your mentors, or anyone else outside of Empower Me First College. As coaches, we need to consistently reflect on our actions and improve our coaching abilities. We're part of a team, and in this team, we support each other in challenging situations. Because of that, we believe that we don't just guide students to peer coaching, but also help them in our personal development. This includes what we discuss anonymized cases with our colleagues, mentors, and regional coordinators. In order to ensure student confidentiality, we must ensure that we not use a student's name under any circumstances. When talking about their personal issues and discussing how they can be assisted best, do not describe them in any way that make them recognizable. One of our core values is equal rights on all levels. This means we do not discriminate against anyone based on gender, background, faith, lifestyle, or any other distinguishing factor. We ensure we meet students eye to eye, treat them as equals on all levels. We actively promote equality and intervene if we observe any kind of inequality or discrimination amongst students or between a coach and a student. We also actively show students how we embrace equality and differences of any kind. It is our job to serve the most vulnerable and guide them to become our equals, if not outgrow us. It is our job to ensure equal opportunities by putting ourselves in the shoes of our students. Managing power and status are key factors for successful coaching. You may have status, you may be considered an authority in your community. Reflect on how this could hinder you meeting students eye to eye. Your only authority should be that you care about their learning successes, they're genuinely interested in their learning goals and how they want to achieve them. Give them a voice and do not expect them to respect you for your seniority, but for your experience and genuine interest in their success. Coaching is always reciprocal in the sense that we can learn by guiding our students not only in how to listen and ask the right questions that will allow them to find their own paths, but also that they may feel insecure about you asking questions or shy to tell you that your suggestion may not be what they want. It is thus paramount that you leave whatever status or power you may have behind and see yourself at the service of your students. They need to feel free to guide you in their needs. Does that sound harsh? Let me give you an example of how students can harm your position as a coach. As a community leader, don't only know that a student, but also their parents. You know that the father's ambition for his daughter is to become a dentist, but she would rather become a journalist, in a profession the father disapproves of. In the cultural setting, a child is supposed to follow her father's wishes, while in the setting of Empower Me First, we focus on the students discovering their potential and passions for learning. Father came to you to ask you to support him. Here are the suggestions of what we expect you to do. 1. Tell the father that in your particular role as a coach, you are to help this daughter perform well academically, and this is done best by supporting her in developing talents, defining her personal goals, and finding ways about performing herself. It goes against your role to represent the parent's wishes. Furthermore, if the student's interested in learning, she is also likely to perform better academically. The parent's support would also help her. Her career wishes are not set in stone, and the student might still change. While if forced, it's likely that she may fail academically and neither achieve the parents' nor her own goals. Tell the student that you'll support her in whatever her educational goals are and that she is in charge, while your role is to merely assist her in achieving her goals when she needs you. Reflect on this apparent reversal of power structures makes you feel and discuss it with your mentor. Keep in mind that even if the student sets her own goal, by supporting her, her respect for you grows and she's unlikely to challenge your authority. Integrity, excellence, cooperation, and consistency. Based on the first 4 points, not sharing personal view, right to anonymity, systematic equality, and managing power, we believe that personal integrity, excellence, cooperation, and consistency are key to successful coaching. This means that we have to be examples of living a life of serving the community and our students, of never showing signs of opportunism or corruption, but rather be understanding, caring, and humble. It means that we want to learn and improve at any time and keep a record of punctuality, knowledge, for example, by having gone through the learning content way ahead of our students, of admitting we don't know something and asking other coaches or the authors of the course, and being consistent in our support of availability to the students. Quite possibly, students may never have experienced coaching. We have to teach them about peer-to-peer coaching, about our roles and the benefits of coaching. Before we start coaching, we need to explain to our students the value, aim, and limits of coaching. Coaching is valuable on many different levels. Not only do we guide the students to learn different techniques of how to learn and approach a problem to solve it effectively, we also guide them to become self-reliant, confident individuals. To achieve this goal, we need to understand and explain our roles. As coaches, we don't teach. We listen, ask questions, maybe give examples. We don't solve problems for our students. Students' role is to become the owners of their lives, to define their personal goals, learn how to achieve them, and have the stamina to outperform themselves. They need to understand nobody but they themselves are responsible for making decisions over their lives, and coaches are merely there to give guidance if the students want it. Students need to understand that they benefit far more from an approach that allows them to learn techniques rather than memorize facts. Coaching is not teaching. Coaches don't lecture, they don't give answers, solve the students' problems, and don't tell students what they have to do. So we have to make it clear that students do not raise false expectations. Once students have understood their and your roles, you have to come to an agreement of each party's responsibilities, rights, and aims. While the students are responsible for their learning and achieving the best results, coaches are responsible to be examples and show the consistency and their availability to create a partnership of trust by treating them eye to eye and keeping anything said confidential. Also, ensure the students understand that both parties have the right to terminate the coaching or to ask respectively to suggest an outside, preferably remote mentor. Students will then be referred to another coach, either remote or on site. Both parties must stay aware of the fact that the aim is to create the best possible work environment. As mentioned before, any information a student says must be kept confidential. This includes that if we keep student data safe. As a coach, you have access to student performance. Your job is to check your students' results at least every second day and discuss them in the areas where they're struggling. This data, which is on LMS, is kept safe on a server. Our administrative assistants are putting them centrally on the workplace where it is only accessible by a selected number of the team. We keep all data private, which means we do not share phone numbers or email addresses without asking a student first, and do not use any messages such as WhatsApp. Students are asked to communicate with the LMS only. Furthermore, they can reach you via email or phone. Another very important point is to follow all processes, policies, and laws. Not only do we act as examples, showing to our students integrity and consistency will allow them to trust you and also bring change to your community as they'll want to do the same. Becoming a responsible coach starts with ourselves. It starts with our attitude towards our responsibilities and limits. It starts with one of the greatest skills, the ability to reflect on ourselves. Improve by recognizing our limits and wanting to learn more. Here are some points that are central. In whatever we do, we need to reflect on the fact if our question or example was beneficial to the student and what benefit they really have. For example, if we're impatient and show a student the answer rather than listen to questions until they found it, they may think they understood. They may be willing to learn it by heart. But if they come across a different problem that could be solved in the same way, they'll not know what to do. So giving the answer wasn't beneficial for the student. Whenever we coach, we need to reflect on how we can best benefit our students and what we need to do to change and learn in order to do so. Readiness for self-development is the best support we can give to students. When they see we're also ready to learn and also make mistakes, they can trust us and are more likely to benefit. When talking about the ethics of coaching, we already talked about the power and status hindering us from creating a beneficial coaching relationship because students cannot trust us to be impartial. There are many other conflicts of interest. Let's look at these examples. Students may know you as the teacher of their younger sister and they had been your student too, and remember a situation in which you had to discipline them. Another student may be the son of your employer. What do you do to ensure there's not conflict of interest? Many of the principles we mentioned before apply. We need to meet a student eye to eye, keep whatever is said confidential, be aware of our roles, show absolute integrity and consistency in our roles. We also talk openly about the conflict of interest and find solutions that are agreeable to both parties. If this is not possible, we do not hesitate to refer the student to another coach. This leads us to another important point. Everyone is fallible. We cannot improve ourselves and learn if we don't see, admit, and reflect on our mistakes and learn from them. We also need to reflect on what's expected of us and communicate openly. These expectations will not be part of our roles. Knowing our limits and openly talking about them will allow us to achieve excellence. It will keep students in our centres and motivate them to outperform. There are many ways of dealing with limitations. Students learn from you when you openly admit to them you may not know everything. They can observe how you educate yourself to become a better coach, and they will trust you because you show honesty and willingness to do a good job. Knowing your limits also benefits you. By sharing your questions and asking other coaches, your mentor and your coordinator for help will give you support and lower your stress level. You'll be more relaxed and enjoy your work better. There are moments where it's better to change a coach. The factors are huge, and in many cases, they have nothing to do with you. It's never a sign of failure if a student asks to change, but it's a compliment if they feel free to tell you. It will also put much less pressure on you as you will know that your students feel comfortable and free with you. A coach-student relationship which is based on pressure is uncomfortable for both sides and will also hinder students from performing well. There are also situations in which you suggest other, preferably remote coaches. These cases are for sensitive questions. As an example, if a student is pregnant and the coach is male, knows her parents well, it is in better interest of both the coach and the student to ask for a remote mentoring. At Empower Me First College, we want to ensure that our coaches follow an effective process of how to deal with difficult situations. This is what we expect of a coach who sees that their students need more help and that they may be reaching their limit. This is what we expect of you. You're expected to always put your students' interests first. There's no shame in admitting that you have reached your limit. On the contrary, knowing your limits makes you trustworthy and valuable to Empower Me First. There are many reasons why it's better to refer a student to a different coach or counsellor. To be able to reflect and give students what they need, you'll need to learn to always reflect on any difficult situations you had. This doesn't mean that you should search for faults in how you were with a student, but try to remember how the student reacted. Non-verbal signs can tell you a lot. Think of what other options you had to guide the student to a result or support them in making a difficult personal decision. Decide which options may have been more beneficial to a student and try to make them part of your repertoire. You can always reach out to other coaches, your mentor and coordinator. We expect you to come together and share case studies. Make sure that the student is not recognizable when you do so. Also discuss your case studies in the forum of this course. The more you share, the more you learn. If you can't help the student, for example, as a man, you may not be the right person to support a girl who is pregnant and is left by the child's father, don't hesitate to ask for another, maybe a remote female coach. Even though you are mostly there to help with the learning, the student might not feel comfortable being coached by a man. If they have a woman to speak to, they may still want to come to you for the learning. There are cases, mostly if they involve mental health, in which it's most beneficial for a student to talk to one of our counsellors. Often they receive help at an early stage. They can benefit most effectively. Don't hesitate to ask for one, and make sure you're transparent to your student about it. If they don't want this support, don't force it on them. Counselling only works if the person in need understands its benefits and need. In some cases, we need to involve someone from outside. For example, if a student is in danger of harming themselves or confides in you about a crime. In this case, you must involve your country coordinator unless it's an absolute emergency. Coaches are responsible for the success of the students. Their students' failure is at the heart of any decision to be made. Future is at the heart of any decision to be made. In a situation of conflict of interest, coaches put the students' interests first. Coaches manage conflicts, consistently reflect on the limits of their roles, and don't hesitate to acknowledge mistakes. They seek assistance from mentors and other coaches and are eager to improve themselves. Especially in difficult situations, teamwork is essential. Do not hesitate to involve your mentors, colleagues, or a specialist. Know your limits and involve your students in any decision making. Reflecting on one's role and being ready to improve is at the core of successful coaching. Coaching is a very responsible and rewarding profession. If students may not always share it, your passion is appreciated.